Over the past 90 years, tens of thousands of students have walked the halls of Port Huron Junior College and the campus of St. Clair County Community College. They've been helped in their educational journeys by knowledgeable and respected faculty, dedicated and talented support staff, and community leadership from members of the Port Huron Board of Education and the Community College Board of Trustees. As with any organization, the college's mission of serving the educational needs of the community is the responsibility of its top leader. In the early days of Port Huron Junior College, this leader held the title of Dean. Since the establishment of St. Clair County Community College in 1967, the person responsible for leading the college has been a president. Remarkably, over the 90 years of the college's existence, only 9 men and women have held either title on a permanent basis. Led by these deans and presidents, Port Huron created and grew one of the first junior colleges in Michigan, and that junior college expanded to become a vital component of the educational, cultural, and economic success of the Blue Water area. These are their stories. Port Huron Junior College was founded in 1923. The Port Huron Board of Education allocated $6,000 to establish the 4th junior college in Michigan after Grand Rapids, Detroit, and Highland Park. The auditorium of Port Huron High School was divided into 3 classrooms for the college's use, and full-time tuition was set at $60 per semester. To lead this fledgling educational experiment, the school board turned to John Harrison McKenzie. A Port Huron native, McKenzie was 31 when he accepted the job of dean of the new junior college. He had been teaching for over a decade, including a stint at a technical high school in Indianapolis. McKenzie and the school board hired 6 faculty members to teach the college's first schedule of 16 courses, and he taught mathematics in addition to his administrative duties. The college's first freshman class had 34 students. McKenzie felt strongly that education was more than just classroom work, and he encouraged extracurricular activities including sports, music, and student government. Within a few years, Port Huron Junior College had a glee club, a yearbook, basketball and baseball teams, an orchestra, and a drama club. The college quickly became a major part of the cultural life of the community, as McKenzie and his faculty sponsored visiting speakers and artists who otherwise wouldn't have visited a town the size of Port Huron.
Education is a truly continuing process. In retrospect, we realize how brief is the span of our years. My hope is that the time spent at the junior college has contributed to the growth of our students toward increasingly purposeful and productive lives.
John McKenzie spent 29 years as Dean of Port Huron Junior College, a span unmatched by any of the college's other leaders. He took 2 leaves of absence during that time, both to serve his country. In the depths of the Great Depression in 1935, he spent a year directing Civilian Conservation Corps camps in northern Michigan. And when the United States entered World War II after the attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, McKenzie, who had served in the First World War and was a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserves, returned to active duty as a training officer and later the commanding officer of Fort Reed in Trinidad, not returning to his dean's desk in Port Huron until 1944.
Whatever course you follow, my hope is that the end of the war may find you with awareness of duty well performed, with ideals unshattered, and with a character strengthened by sacrifice and service.
During McKenzie's years as dean, the college moved from its temporary space in the high school auditorium into the Maccabee building at the north end of Huron Avenue, where it stayed until 1957. In the 1930s, McKenzie led the college's efforts to gain accreditation with the North Central Association, which allowed credits earned at the junior college to transfer to senior colleges and universities. Following the war, enrollment growth at PHJC boomed as servicemen and women returned and used the GI Bill to attend college, many of them becoming the first in their families to do so. John H. McKenzie died on an airplane on his way back from an educational conference in 1952. He was 60 years old. In his 29 years at Port Huron Junior College, he had turned an idea into reality, and he died doing what he passionately believed in, creating opportunities for his students.
It has been my privilege to have taught some and learned from all who have been students of Port Huron Junior College. May you continue your search for truth, and may your loyalty to noble ideals and your devotion to service ever be manifest in your lives.
Following the unexpected death of Dean McKenzie in 1952, the Port Huron School Board appointed Superintendent Howard Kroll interim dean of the junior college, assisted by a committee of faculty members, while they searched for McKenzie's successor. They didn't have to look far, and in 1954 they appointed A. Ross McLaren, a longtime instructor at the college, as the second dean of Port Huron Junior College. McLaren served only 3 years before retiring, but during his term of service, the junior college added one of its most important academic programs, when nursing education was offered starting in 1954. The first nursing class had 16 students.
A rapid transformation of events characterizes our institution. If we do not meet the measure of our yardstick of contentment, we can only profit from our mistakes and resolve that the same mistakes will not be repeated. My congratulations to those who have planned their work and worked their plan. Good sailing to our students and successful arrival at your port of destination.
In 1957, the junior college welcomed its third dean, James C. Browning. Browning would serve the college for 10 years, and those years were among the most exciting in its history. At the same time as he accepted the position, the college was moving out of the Maccabee building, where classes had been held for 32 years, back to its original home in the newly vacated Port Huron High School downtown. The new high school building had opened on 24th Street, and the old building was extensively renovated, featuring up-to-date classrooms, offices, and other facilities. The first baby boomers born after World War II entered college in 1962, and the need for additional classroom space was urgent. The college purchased St. Stephen's Church and High School just across the street from the main building. The church was demolished, eventually making room for the Clair E. McKenzie Library and Science Building, while the old high school was renovated and renamed the North Building. The moves also gave the college the gymnasium it had long needed.
Events have moved so rapidly, and time has sped so swiftly, that it is difficult to comprehend the continual pattern of transformation that has characterized this institution, not only the past few years, but since its inception in 1923. This progress has been possible through the devotion and hard work of students and faculty. Through their generosity, our expansion plans have become a reality. We can never repay the great debt we owe these friends, except to continue to offer every possible service to the young people and adults of this area.
It was during Browning's time as dean that the change from a junior college controlled by the Port Huron Public Schools to a community college district began, culminating in the approval by county voters of a millage to support the college separately from the school district. Effective on New Year's Day of 1968, Port Huron Junior College became St. Clair County Community College.
Time wasted is existence. Used, it is life. Yesterday is a canceled check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. Today is only the cash you have, and you are investing it carefully in your own future.
To lead the community college in the new role of president, the new board of trustees turned to Dr. Harlan L Hegler. Dr. Hegler served for 4 years through 1971, and his steady hand during the transitional period was important to the college. He oversaw the completion and dedication of the Clair E. McKenzie building in 1968 and the A.J. Tyson Science and Technology Center in 1969. The college also used urban renewal funds to purchase 20 acres of land north and west of the college and cleared the land of houses and streets for future development.
We are proud of the academic record of our students and the caliber of our instructors. We are in the midst of an expansion program that will see our campus grow with the addition of new land and buildings. We feel that we are on the threshold of a new era and are pleased that you will be sharing this growth with us.
St. Clair County Community College's second president was Dr. Richard L. Norris, who had previously been the Director of Research and Development. In that role, he had been instrumental in the development of the expansion plans that began to be implemented in the late 1960s, and the college saw its greatest physical growth during his 19 years as president. The College Center opened in 1976, with the Fine Arts Building following closely in 1977. The Applied Technology Center and Maintenance Building were completed in 1981. The main building, originally opened as Port Huron High School in 1908, received an extensive renovation in 1982, and similar work was done to the North Building in 1990. Parking areas were also developed and expanded. During Dr. Norris's presidency, computers and related technology went from being a specialty field of study to something that every college student needed to have at least a basic familiarity with, and St. Clair County Community College responded by adding courses, expert faculty and staff, and new computer labs and hardware. The college also became increasingly involved with international students and education, including student and faculty exchanges with other colleges in Mexico, Ecuador, Venezuela, Russia, England, China, and the Middle East. By the time Dr. Norris retired in 1990, the college's student enrollment had grown from around 28 students to over 4,300.
We continue to work to provide the best service to our students. Many programs at the college have been initiated for the service of the community. Our process of self-study required for renewal of our accreditation is also an important part of our responsibilities. In short, the things that we have devoted our energies to are the things that rightly ought to consume the majority of our time as professional educators. This has been an extremely satisfying time for me, and I hope that we're able to carry this momentum forward.
Dr. R. Ernest Deere assumed the role of president in 1990. He was previously Dean of Instruction and a vice president of the college before being elevated to his new job. Dr. Deere's 7 years as president, which included a short time as interim president from 2001 to 2002, were marked by an overall collegiality on campus. A new approach to negotiations between the college's administration and the various bargaining groups at the college led to changes, as faculty, staff, and administrators were able to focus their energies on their mission of teaching and learning.
If you shoot square with people, you generally overcome that distrust. It's not something that you can just talk about. You have to show people you can be trusted and don't have a hidden agenda.
Dr. Deere also continued his predecessor's focus on updating technology to respond to a rapidly changing world. During his administration, at least one computer lab was added or upgraded every academic year. The first interactive TV classrooms were installed on the Port Huron campus and the college's Bad Axe Satellite Center, which allowed instructors and students to communicate with each other at a distance.
With today's global workforce, the value of a college education has never been greater. A high school diploma is not training now. The president should be able to communicate that to the community.
In 1996, St. Clair County Community College hired its first female president, Dr. Krista E. Adams. Dr. Adams worked to renew the college's connection to the surrounding community by improving communications with local citizens. Modernization of campus facilities continued as the Applied Technology Center was renovated, allowing all of the manufacturing trade programs to be consolidated in a single location. The Citizens First M-Tech building opened in 2001 to provide space for additional computer labs and classrooms. The building expanded the campus to its current size and infrastructure. The University Center opened in 1997 with four-year colleges and universities offering bachelor's degree programs in Port Huron, including Walsh College for Business and Management and the University of Michigan Flint for Education and Nursing. The college's first online courses were offered in 2000.
Daily, we stir our colors. If we pay attention, we discover rainbows of opportunities. And if we look closely, we may even find that the little bottle we are stirring contains the sky. For nearly 3/4 of a century, this college has painted rainbows among the community that created it and people that love it. Everybody on this campus knows the labor of love that makes this college the gem of St. Clair County. Our gift to the community is a promise toward meeting that community's needs. We can do this because we are intent on the colors we are stirring, and we realize that this little bottle contains the sky.
Dr. Adams left to take a new position in Ohio in 2001, and the college's Board of Trustees asked Dr. Ernest Deere to come out of retirement to temporarily serve as president for 1 year. Following an extensive search, the college hired Dr. Rose B. Belanca as the 5th president and 8th permanent leader in the college's 79-year history. Dr. Belanca came to SC4 from Macomb Community College, where she had served as provost as well as working in planning and development. Her background in planning led to the development of a long-term strategic plan for the college, just as the new millennium was creating changes for everyone involved at the college. New teaching methods and technologies, new demands from government agencies for information and accountability, and in the end, new challenges caused by the economic downturn and recession at the end of the decade.
College campuses are, indeed, the vessels of change in a community and a place where an open exchange of ideas can flow freely. A ship or a sailboat cannot move forward without effort and energy exerted by the crew. The motor will not turn over if someone does not turn the key. The sails will not fill if the crew does not trim them. The crew is the life of the vessel that makes all things possible. The vessel that is our institution remains on a steady course only with input from every crew member.
In 2008, Dr. Belanca moved on after 6 years at the helm of St. Clair County Community College, and the board turned to Kirk A. Kramer to serve as interim president while they searched for her successor. Mr. Kramer took over just as the economic storm clouds began building, and he had the task of maintaining the college's financial footing as state funding decreased and local property values dropped, resulting in lower property tax revenues. Through careful management of the college's assets, SC4 withstood the initial shocks of the recession under Mr. Kramer's leadership. In 2009, the Board of Trustees hired the 6th permanent president of St. Clair County Community College, Dr. Kevin A. Pollock. Dr. Pollock came to SC4 from West Shore Community College in Scottville, Michigan, where he was the vice president of student services. The first years of his presidency saw the continuation of the financial challenges that many community colleges in Michigan were dealing with, but with the cooperation of the entire campus community, SC4 was able to weather that storm and continue to develop new programs and maintain its historic connection to the Blue Water area community, including expanding and supporting the college's visual and performing arts programs with the goal of becoming the cultural center of the community. Declining enrollment has also proven to be a challenge for many community colleges throughout the United States, but due to some creative partnerships with local school districts, high school students have had the opportunity to attend college, many of them for the first time in their family's history, and even receive an associate degree at the same time as they graduate from high school. These programs, including the CL5 program with Croswell Lexington Schools and the Blue Water Middle College, have brought a new vitality to the college's Port Huron campus and a new sense of accomplishment among the next generation of community college students. It's hard to imagine what the first dean, John McKenzie, would think about his college today. He'd likely marvel at the technology, at the variety of programs, at the sheer numbers of students, faculty, and staff, at the expansion of the campus. But in the end, he'd likely recognize that the mission of the college remains the same: providing educational opportunities to the residents of the county and the Blue Water area, and in turn improving economic and cultural opportunities for all. St. Clair County Community College, and Port Huron Junior College before it, has been fortunate to have outstanding leaders throughout its history. The future continues to be bright for the little junior college that began in a high school auditorium with 34 students back in 1923. 90 years. Our leaders helped to bring us to this point, but in the end, this is our story, and it shows little sign of ending anytime soon.